I think we last spoke to our next guest, back in May, I guess is when we would have spoken last to him. Joining us right now, candidate for Railroad Commissioner, is Wayne Christian.
Good morning, Chad. How are you doing today?
Doing all right. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Just want to thank all the good folks in the Lubbock area. I was honored that they were kind enough to give me a majority vote in their area, your senator and your county chairman, and you've been so kind to me during the last few years. I'm just very indebted to the city of Lubbock and the officials.
Well, we appreciate you coming on today. And like I said, I think the last time we spoke was back in May, which it sounds a long time ago, but this year's gone by real fast, so it probably doesn't feel like it was that long ago.
I guarantee time flies when you're having fun, isn't it?
Well, and you are you're still you have a general election matchup. You are going to be going against Grady Yarborough.
That's correct. Right, he's a Democrat candidate. There's also a Libertarian candidate, and there's a Green candidate. So, and what is unusual in this election is that I'm the only statewide non-judicial candidate, which means it's very important for folks to turn out because unlike Lubbock and some of the other oil and gas locations in the state of Texas, many folks don't know what the Railroad Commission does. And, of course, it's very important. It's 1/3 of the jobs in the state of Texas are direct or indirectly related, and folks there in Lubbock are aware of that. But a lot of people in the state aren't. So a lot of people may not turn out since there's not another lieutenant governor or senator or any other elected person on the ballot in November. So I'm trying to rally around the state and get people just to make sure they turn out to vote.
Is that something that we've heard stories all throughout, with the national election? We've heard that some campaigns are worried about voter turnout. Is that something that you're worried that people just won't show up to vote, that people are upset with maybe the national folks who are running and that they're not going to turn out? Or is this just a reminder, hey, there are Republicans on the ballot, so show up?
No, I think everything you said to the last thing is true, and again, we do want to remind everybody, but there is a danger that we take for granted that, well, there's not a lot on the ticket. Some of the Republicans maybe are uncomfortable with the top of the ticket, and you've got some people on the Democratic side that know if they're smelling blood in the water, and if they can achieve just one statewide victory, it'll turn their party back on like has not been turned on since the 1990s. So it's very much a danger of us sitting back as Republicans, as conservatives, as libertarians, and allowing the other side, which has now moved far left. And it's a danger to the oil and gas industry. I can't tell you what learning the dangers that exist to us that I think a lot of people just don't stop to think about. And one great example, if Hillary Clinton has her way and stays in office, she already said, for one thing, she's going to cut out coal. That's 1/3 of the electric grid in the state of Texas. That means every family's electric bill would go up at least, an average of $1,000. And I've had that fact checked. And so it's a great need of people to understand how important both the national ticket and the Railroad Commission ticket is in the state of Texas this year.
We are visiting with Wayne Christian here on the Chad Hasty Show. Since May, when you won the runoff, what all have you been up to? I assume going around talking to different groups and speaking to people. Is that has that sort of been the plan?
Yeah, it's amazing how popular you get when they find out that you might really become something. And so I've been getting invitations.
Everyone wants you at dinner, huh? Is that what you're saying?
You got it. And Texas is a big place. And so immediately after, one very interesting thing I was able to go to was British Petroleum. Once a year flies their lead economist over from England and reports at the Federal Reserve down at Houston. I attended that. It was very interesting to hear him talk about how the shale play, horizontal drilling, and fracking had changed the entire dynamics of the world energy markets. And so that makes us proud. And quite frankly, I continue to find that because the people, here's where we in Texas can kind of puff out our cheeks, and this is true. Had it not been, and Rick Perry has said that during his campaign, had it not been for the state of Texas, the Obama administration would have had a negative recovering economy the entire 8.5 years, 7.5 years they've been there. And we in the state of Texas were smart enough in the oil and gas industry that we developed all of these new techniques and continued to advance them during the past 8.5 years, while the people in Washington, like Barack Obama's crew and Hillary Clinton's crew, just weren't smart enough to turn off the tap because they didn't know what we were doing out here. But they know now. And Obama has called oil in his State of the Union the tyranny that we must stop.
Visiting with Wayne Christian. Wayne, tell folks if they're not up to speed with what exactly, and I know you've been hitting on a few of the items here, but for Railroad Commissioner, for those who just don't know what Railroad Commissioner is, give us a little bit of a glimpse as to what your activities would be when elected.
Well, of course, we are the group, 3 commissioners. I'll be the one of 3 commissioners, and our entire agency is 750 strong. It's the oldest agency in the state of Texas, and it's 125 years old. We're going on our 126th year next year. And it is literally because OPEC is beginning to crumble in its dealings overseas, and because Britex has come out, they would rather buy from us, and we now can export to our European friends both liquefied natural gas, but the Railroad Commission regulates all of that production underneath the ground. Oil, gas, coal, uranium, just supply of fossil fuels is what the Railroad Commission takes. And again, that's a third of our jobs. If you are in public, if you have kids in school or grandkids, law enforcement, roads, it's 20% of the state legislative budget. So it is important to us in the state of Texas, and that's the Railroad Commission that regulates energy in Texas.
Wayne Christian, candidate for Railroad Commissioner, facing a Democrat, a Libertarian, and a Green Party opponent in the general election. Wayne, where can people find out more information about you and your campaign?
Well, of course, on the web, it's christianfortexas.com, just christianfortexas.com.
All right, easy enough, and still one of the best logos in politics. Wayne, appreciate your time today.
Hey, thank you.
Have a good one. We'll have you on closer to the election as well, all right?
I'll be honored. Thank you, Chad.
All right, great. That's Wayne Christian, candidate for Railroad Commissioner here on the Chad Hasty Show.